That's coming up.
And we're seasonal and breezy as we head into our Wednesday. We'll more on that full forecast coming up. NBC Palm Springs at 6 starts right now.
Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky.
And I'm Mark Mester. It's been less than 2 weeks since the bombing at American Reproductive Center's fertility clinic. That's tonight's top story. However, today is the start of the clinic's attempt to rebuild. Our Brett Rosen joins us live from outside the temporary clinic, which just opened its doors today. Brett, what's the latest?
Mark, I'm outside the El Mirador Medical Plaza. This is now the new temporary home for the IVF clinic that was affected by the bombing about 2 weeks ago. So speaking to staff earlier today, the biggest thing that was coming from them was excitement. They were excited that the doors were finally reopening. Take a look. Last Thursday, Dr. Maher Abdallah and the clinic held a press conference regarding the incident that transpired on Saturday, May 17th. The message was simple. The clinic would rebuild and be better than ever. Today, Dr. Abdallah says what comes first is the clinic's patients.
We basically want to show how resilient we are, how hardworking we are, and that we're about our patient care. It's also reassuring to the patients to know that we're here, we're up and running. This morning we had patients in this office. For them to see this and to tell their friends, it's also a big deal. It's reassuring to them.
The clinic is not fully operational yet. They're only seeing existing patients and doing ultrasounds. Dr. Abdallah says the clinic will be fully operational as early as July.
We're almost there. In a couple of weeks, we'll be seeing new patients on follow-ups here in this office. And as far as performing IVF procedures, we need accreditation and licensure, and we're hoping that that will happen by the middle of July.
As the clinic begins to rebuild and reopen, anxieties and fears filled the room. But Kenya Escobar, a sonographer, says complacency was never an option.
Everyone was feeling nerves just because we didn't know what the intention was behind the whole situation. But again, our thoughts were moving forward. It never really was an option to just stay at a standstill.
Now the question everyone has been wondering is, how are the embryos that were saved? Dr. Abdallah says they are in the new building and they're thriving.
And today we received the genetics report. 7 out of the 8 embryos are also genetically normal. So 7 out of 8. We almost never see that that much euploid embryos. So things are just perfection. Things are really working out.
And for Kenya Escobar, it's her patience and the community behind her that keeps her going.
We feel the love, we feel the support, we feel the community behind everything. We love helping families. The whole idea of it is creating family. And so I hope that that message carries forward.
Now, when speaking to clinic staff, they were excited the doors were finally opening. However, I spoke to the medical director and he was saying that this is not their forever home. They're planning to rebuild the old clinic location from the ground up and hoping that that rebuild will open up in 2026. For NBC Palm Springs, I'm Brett Rosen, sending back to you guys in studio.
Thank you, Brett. More local news this evening. The family of a woman killed by a suspected drunk driver is now asking for the community's help in covering her funeral expenses. Police reports that Cathedral City resident 27-year-old Yuvinka Ponce was struck and killed Saturday night. Officials arrested Anthony Vega on suspicion of DUI. He remains in custody tonight. This crash happened on Dinosaur Drive. Yuvinka was pronounced dead at the scene, and this happened on Yuvinka's mother's birthday. The GoFundMe link is on our website, NBCPalmSprings.com. It's also there at the bottom of your screen. The family says any donations are helpful.
The Palm Springs Police Department is asking for the public's help tonight in identifying the driver involved in a fatal hit and run that happened late Friday night. A woman was struck by a dark gray Toyota sedan at East Palm Canyon Drive in South Camino Real. She was found unresponsive and later died at the hospital. The driver fled the scene before officers arrived. Anyone with information is asked to urge to contact the numbers that you see at the very top of your screen there.
A juvenile is behind bars tonight on suspicion of a fatal DUI over the weekend in Cathedral City. Cathedral City Police Department saying this happened around 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. It took the life of 24-year-old Kevin Becerra. The driver of the other car, whose identity has not been released because of his age, was believed to be intoxicated and has since been arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence. Let's change gears here. Take a live look outside from our Agua Caliente casino camera. Check out the sun starting to head down there. Almost what it's feeling like. There's some hot temperatures for us this week. And for those of you who had a long weekend, we hope you rested and are ready to start a new one. Although, Chloe, I think by the end of it, we'll be ready to jump in the pool.
I was going to say, yeah, even with the cooling this weekend, we always have to be careful when we say cooling because it's still going to be in the high 90s. So I'm like, it's cooler, but it's still going to feel very hot out there and a little muggy this weekend. We got some tropical moisture on the way, so get ready for that. As Olivia mentioned that, Cam, I feel like the sun is actually that close to the earth. It feels very warm out there today. We're going to continue those seasonal conditions through tomorrow. So we were slightly above average today. That'll continue tomorrow along with those breezy conditions. We will have a ridge of high pressure that's going to be moving in to Southern California Thursday and Friday. Those temperatures are going to ramp up a little bit, so keep that in mind with how it feels out today at about 5 degrees to that. That's what it's going to feel like Thursday and Friday. Cooler and, as I mentioned, muggier for the weekend as we are tracking a storm that's near the northern Baja Peninsula. Will be moving its way into Southern California by the weekend and also bringing up some of that tropical moisture. So temperatures right now cooling slightly from the 5 o'clock. It was triple digits still at 5 o'clock. We are 99 now here in downtown Palm Springs. Those winds from the east-southeast direction at this hour. Like I said, today and into tomorrow, those winds are going to continue to stay breezy for us here in the Coachella Valley. So no concerns as far as winds go. That air quality that we had this weekend, because it was gusty this weekend. If you were outside for your Saturday, you probably saw those winds kicking up that dust and that sand. So that's going to end this evening because we will see some weaker winds for us here on the desert floor. So here's a look at your company 3-day forecast. Triple digits staying with us through the remainder of this week. We're getting back to those 90s below average conditions heading into the weekend. We'll break down more and expect in that full forecast coming up.
All right, Chloe, thank you for that. We turn now to an annual event in Cathedral City. 2 high school students honored for their academic excellence, each getting a street sign in their name. Our digital reporter, Thalia Hayden, was at this morning's exciting unveiling. Have a look.
It's a special day in Cathedral City where 2 lucky seniors get street signs in their name. Is it like the whole senior class that you select from?
Correct. All seniors that are graduating this year are potential candidates, and then the staff starts their discussion, and then they kind of usually nominate a few kids, like, hey, this kid was awesome.
It's a experience I never thought I'd really be able to share, getting an entire street named after me.
Diego was just a terrific all-around student at our school. He was our school board rep for Palm Springs Unified. He played on our esports team. He served on our school site council. There's no reason why anyone would dislike Diego.
Okay, Diego just got his street sign at Mount San Jacinto High School. Now we are moving on to Cathedral City High School to see who's next.
Kimberly's an amazing student, and we're just so very proud of everything she's done at Cathedral City High School, and we know that she's going to be amazing in the future.
It means so much. I'm so excited. I feel like it means a lot for me as well as my family, and I'm just so grateful to be able to kind of show them that I work so hard, especially for them, because of all their support and things like that. It's just very, very gratifying experience. I'm very honored.
I'm your digital reporter, Thalia Hayden, with NBC Palm Springs.
Congratulations to both of those students. Amazing work. Well, Greater Palm Springs Restaurant Week starts this Friday, May 30th. It's a great opportunity to savor the start of summer. There are 10 days of exclusive restaurant deals all throughout the valley. You can book your reservations through visitgreaterpalmsprings.com, and it's all for a greater cause. $1 of every reservation booked will be donated to Find Food Bank.
The 11th annual UFO conference, Contact in the Desert, will lift off in Indian Wells next week. It's happening over at the Renaissance Esmeralda Resort and Spa. It's May 29th through June 2nd. It's billed as the world's largest gathering of leading UFO researchers and experts in history. It'll feature more than 50 lectures, several workshops, and guest speakers. And we will have the founder right here on our morning show tomorrow with Mary Strong. So tune in for that.
Coming up next on NBC Palm Springs, the world's largest Bitcoin event is underway. We have details and exclusive interviews with experts coming up after the break.
And speaking of cryptocurrency, a second suspect in what's being called the crypto kidnapping case has turned himself into police. We have the latest ahead.
And your gold and silver prices on those Tuesday evenings. Stay with us. Those headlines coming up right after the break. The Bitcoin 2025 conference is full steam ahead in Las Vegas. NBC Palm Springs contributor Crypto Fitz has all the details and exclusive interviews with experts at the world's largest Bitcoin event.
NBC Palm Springs, we've got boots on the ground with our Crypto Fitz team in Las Vegas at the Venetian Hotel, the Bitcoin Conference 2025 at the Venetian, and the entire Bitcoin community flying in from all over the world. We're talking about major investors, developers, Capitol Hill, senators, congressmen from both sides of the aisle, all converging on Vegas for 3 days of conferences, speeches, keynote addresses, and a lot of fun. Our Crypto Fitz boots on the ground from the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club booth on the main floor there is Jay Bowes. Jay, thank you so much. What's the vibe up there on day one?
The vibe is electric. There are people from all walks of life who are a part of the Bitcoin ecosystem that have converged here. In a city of lights, in a city where spectacles and illusions are created, it is only fitting that Bitcoin, the bastion of truth, gets revealed here by the finest minds from around the world. The main themes center around the fact that Bitcoin is the new crowned king. Fiat is dead, and this is the new way, the new wave in which all industry and all businesses and all of society is going to evolve around. The energy is off the charts amazing. There are people who are working in so many parts of the ecosystem. It's not about blockchain anymore. It's actually what we can accomplish around Bitcoin as an underlying platform to spawn a completely new way a society works. That's what the energy is, Crypto Fitz.
We have such a great lineup of guests this week in the 6 and 11 o'clock news here on NBC Palm Springs, covering Bitcoin Conference 2025 in Las Vegas. 30,000 very passionate, creative people converging on Las Vegas to discuss and explore and learn about the intersection of technology and finance, and especially, of course, Bitcoin. The digital asset, the hedge against inflation, many consider it digital gold and an important part of our country's future. I'm Jimmy Fitz, a.k.a. Crypto Fitz. Thanks for joining us here on NBC Palm Springs.
In some news across the country this evening, a second suspect connected to the kidnapping and torture of an Italian man in an effort to steal his digital currency, also known as cryptocurrency, has turned himself into authorities. William Duplessis surrendered with his lawyers to NYPD's Major Case Squad Detectives Unit. Officials say that he is a business partner of John Waltz, known by some as the Crypto King of Kentucky. The victim, an Italian citizen, was another business partner of the two men and was allegedly held inside a townhome in Manhattan for more than 2 weeks after he refused to turn over his Bitcoin password to Walls. Walls was arrested Friday, faces charges including kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, and assault, among others. He was ordered to be held without bond. Duplessis' alleged involvement in the case was not immediately clear.
President Donald Trump's media company is looking to buy Bitcoin. Trump Media announcing a $2.5 billion raise from institutional investors today to bankroll one of the largest Bitcoin treasury allocations by a public company. Shares of the company fell about 10% following the news. President Trump indirectly owns more than 114 million shares of Trump Media through a trust.
The Trump administration has asked the Supreme Court to lift limits on deportations of convicted criminals to third countries that are not their nations of origin. The administration is seeking to block an injunction issued by a federal judge that said the affected immigrants nationwide should be given a meaningful opportunity to raise concerns about the potential risk of torture, persecution, or death. The judge later clarifying that they should have had at least 10 days to bring their claims. Just last week, the judge said the administration had violated his previous order by flying 8 migrants to South Sudan. The men are now being held in a U.S. facility in Djibouti. All the immigrants potentially affected by the litigation are already subject to deportation, so the case hinges on what legal process they receive before they can be deported.
bring you a live look outside our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera this evening. Getting hotter as the week carries on. Our Chloe Carlson is in next to tell us more about our 7-day forecast. Stay with us.
And happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Right now, we're taking a live look at the Walter Clark Highway 11 cam in Rancho Mirage. Clear blue skies again today. Beautiful conditions out there. Kind of right around seasonal for this time of year. A little bit more traffic there on the 111. It was clear in the 5 o'clock show. I was wondering where you all were. As far as things coming down the pipeline, our holiday countdown calendar, we are 19 days away from Father's Day. Juneteenth is 23 days away. The start of summer, just 24 days away, which is always funny here in the desert because it definitely feels like summer right now, but 124 last June. We all remember that day. Also 25 days away. It's a little shout out right there at the bottom of the screen. I should bring that photo up a little bit, but that is Miss Callie right there, and she's gonna be turning 1, which is very exciting. Cannot believe it's almost been a year already. And then we're just 38 days away from July 4th. A lot of fun and things coming up soon for us here in the world, in the Coachella Valley. 101 for the high today. Like I said, just right around seasonal, just above seasonal. Those conditions continue into our Wednesday before we kind of ramp up those temperatures Thursday and Friday. At this hour, 95 in the southeast end in Indio, 99 in Palm Springs for our neighbors there in Desert Hot Springs, 91 degrees there. Overnight tonight, we will be 70s here on the desert floor, just above freezing up there in Big Bear. So if you got to escape the heat, take a trip to Big Bear or Idlewild for the day. As far as dew points, relative humidity, very dry here with dry conditions for most of this week as that ridge of high pressure builds over Southern California. Things do change as we get into the weekend, though. We are tracking the low pressure system right now that is just to the south of us in the northern Baja Peninsula. That's going to make its way back into Southern California over the weekend. It's going to bump up these numbers. So I mentioned it earlier, it might feel a little bit muggy and sticky as we get into the second half of our weekend. Winds breezy from us mostly this week. Like I said, Wednesday more the same what we saw today. Thursday, those temperatures ramp up and that system will be moving into Southern California by Sunday. Muggy and a chance of rain for our mountain communities. Not so much rain for us here on the desert floor. Here's a look at your Covered Air 7-day forecast. Triple digits through the rest of the work week. We are 90s by the weekend.
NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Oh, welcome back. Spring sports well represented around the Coachella Valley with several teams still in play at a championship ring. The Cathedral City Lions softball team will play for the CIF Southern Section Division 8 Championship in Irvine Saturday afternoon. Now, the Lady Lions started the season 1-7, but head coach Israel Diaz and company have pushed the Lions to their first ever CIF Southern Championship sectional game. First pitch will be at 1 p.m. on Saturday against UNAMI in Irvine. And sticking with softball, the Lady Rattlers Rancho Mirage will battle it out for their first Division 7 championship on Friday afternoon following their semifinal win over Westminster. Rancho Mirage also making history. Amaya Oliveira and Elisa Garcia continue to lead the bats. The two of them going 5 for 9 with 3 RBIs on Friday. First pitch will be at 1 p.m. on Friday at in Irvine, at the Deanna Manning Stadium. All softball finals be held there this weekend. Staying on the diamond, the Rancho Mirage baseball team in Costa Mesa this afternoon taking on Estancia High School. This is the top of the third. Edwin Carlin with a 2-run single to break the scoreless tie. Rattlers up 2-0. All good, right? But Estancia would answer every single inning they fell behind. We'll push here to the top of the 7th with runners on the corners. Jesus Gutierrez up for the Rancho Mirage Rattlers. He goes and flies out to shallow left field. Now the outfielder making a diving catch to end the game and push Estancia to the finals. The Rattlers season now comes to an end. And it's finally baseball time for the Palm Springs Power. This week, the back-to-back champs will take the field to start a season with a few milestones within reach. It'll be the 21st season in franchise history. The team sits at 678 wins and will have a chance at reaching 700. You have to like their chances after going 35-3 last season. Manager Casey Dill also begins the year with 575 career wins. First pitch Friday night at 6:30 against the Utah Lab. Well, that'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
The Australian twins who wrote and directed the 2022 horror hit Talk to Me have returned with a new supernatural fright flick. David Daniel tonight with a look.
This is my new sister and brother, Oliver. Oliver lost his family just like you guys.
Siblings find there's something strange about their new foster mother in Bring Her Back.
How did she cope with Kathy being gone?
I didn't.
Filmmakers Danny and Michael Philippou were excited to work with two-time Oscar nominee Sally Hawkins.
She's so different in every single film that she'd done, and the fact she'd never played like an outright horror character as well. The idea of getting her was so exciting to us. We just didn't think it would be possible, though.
Yeah, we didn't think she'd say yes, but the script got sent to her, and she loved the script. And then so we had a call, and we were just enamored by her. We thought she was incredible.
I've got to tell you a secret.
She really went there. She was terrifying to approach even on set. Like, she was just so in the character and in the zone.
And we purposely structured the film to, when we were shooting it, for it to be in order. So we knew those big scenes were coming and it was building. It was always exciting the night before because you knew Sally was going to bring it.
Listen. Some people believe the spirit stays in the body for months after death. We can bring her back.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Brighter Side of the News is brought to you by Fiesta Kia. Discover the all-new Fiesta Kia located in the I-10 Auto Mall.
All right, before we go, a second time capsule has been found during the demolition of McCoy Stadium. This is in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. The city believes it contains items from the longest professional baseball game on record. In 1981, the Pawtucket Red Sox defeated the Rochester Red Wings. It was a 33-inning game. Talk about some free baseball, huh? Another time capsule found a week earlier was from 1940. That's when the city's mayor put it in the stadium cornerstone. The contents of both will be revealed at a ceremony June 23rd. It's the 44th anniversary of that record-long game. What do you think would be inside?
I don't know, but 33 innings. Did they have any fans by the 33rd inning? You know,
Everybody's got to go to work.
Three games and change. There's no shot. People stuck around.
You know, one of their parents was there, really dedicated. Come on, son.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us. We're back here tonight for the news at 11, so please join us for that. Meantime, we're going to send things over to Fred Rogan. He's got the latest tonight with the Rogan Report. Hey, Fred.
Hey, Mark. The Rogan Report is presented by The Living Desert.
You like that little cameo I made before we started? You know what? I get paid per appearance on camera, so I told them to put me in there. Time to board the plane, open seating, or maybe it's open standing. Welcome to what the plane of the future could be. Hello there, happy Tuesday. Got an email yesterday, made us think. A couple of our viewers went to a Memorial Day event and sent us a picture. The subject, inappropriate Memorial Day event. The national anthem was being performed at Coachella Valley High School. One student waving a pride fan flag didn't get it. Should the school have allowed this? Here's the picture. So you see a group of what we assume are students, and there in the middle is a girl quietly holding a small fan with the pride colors on it. Does it look like she is disrupting things? You'll see behind her a memorial. It says ultimate sacrifice. So is that inappropriate? On that day, should the only flag be the American flag? Or perhaps the pride flag was to acknowledge that some of those who fought were gay. Was it appropriate to show the pride flag? Would it have been inappropriate to show any other flag? Contributors tonight, Stephanie Meyer, Chauncey Thompson. Stephanie, you're up first. Let's assume this has nothing to do with it being a pride flag. Should any flag other than the American flag be displayed during a Memorial Day service?
I don't see why not. We wouldn't be having this conversation if it was a state flag. This is definitely about the flag. Our military is diverse. Certainly there are members of the LGBTQ plus in that military. So I don't understand what the problem is. I think this is insanity.
Chauncey, how do you feel?
I agree with Stephanie. I think we're just happy to see the kids out there learning about what people did to die for our freedom. So it's less about the color of the flag for me. And really what that flag is, and I've seen it around town, it's a Desert Oasis Healthcare fan flag. It's hot in Coachella. It was over 100 and something degrees yesterday. So let's not make it bigger than what it is.
Okay, but for argument's sake, let's assume it was about being a pride flag. What would you say to that, Chauncey?
Listen, like Stephanie said, there are people who are LGBTQ who are in our military. So we're recognizing everybody that died for us. It's a memorial service. Take it for what it is. They're just kids. They're students. I would be happy if my son would go to an event and would just show up. So let's just be happy for that.
Stephanie, just about flying the American flag, or bottom line, do you think there is more to what our viewer suggested?
I think there's obviously more to it. I think, again, this is insanity. These are young kids. I wouldn't even care if it was an adult holding that flag. It's hot out here. What's wrong with a rainbow flag? Not one thing. It wasn't just taking away from the event. They were there honoring our fallen heroes. So I think this is beyond ridiculous.
All right. So we had Lenny Abramowitz on the program yesterday, and he told us what Memorial Day meant to him.
From World War I until now, we honor those who are not here. Don't thank a veteran who's alive. Thank a veteran and memorialize a person who's not here. That's what we need to do. To honor the ones who've never made it home. I'm the commander for the VFW Post 3699 Indio. My guys are really close. And we work with all these vets out here from, I guess, Mecca to Palm Springs.
People that have served and sacrificed for our country oftentimes are underappreciated. Jonathan Rich, who was the chaplain of VFW Post 3699 in Indio, wrote and let us know soldiers have very deep feelings about Memorial Day and have proud feelings. He thanked us for asking Lenny the right questions and the chance to express a veteran's perspective. The reason some of us are involved in post-active duty groups is because we do want to remember both the good and the bad of military service. We want to thank Lenny, Jonathan, and all the men and women who risk and have lost their lives to keep America free. Okay, if you watch, you know that we have a lot of folks that come on the program during the week. Everybody always looks great, but few get the reaction Alan Monroe of the Living Desert gets. His sports coats are things of legend, and Gary wanted to know where Alan gets those amazing coats. Take a look at some of the amazing animal print coats on Alan. We can confirm that Alan is the only one to own these amazing blazers. We like to call it the Alan Monroe Collection. He has each one specially made with only the highest quality fabric. Actually, I don't know what the fabric is, but I know that he does have them made. So, Gary, you will not find these in your local men's warehouse. When it comes to good neighbors, we've had a lot of recommendations from mechanics. One recommendation came from Aliana. She recommended Kelly, but we didn't see where he worked to give him a shout out. So you can find Kelly's Auto Mechanics in Palm Springs. And Aliana says he's knowledgeable, very reasonable, and a treasure. Thank you, Aliana. She is showing everyone how to be a really good neighbor. Well, now here's a dilemma. Peter in La Quinta needs to find a high-quality, reasonably priced palm tree pruner. He's got 10 trees in need of help. Casey Rancho Mirage needs some recommendations for a decent dermatologist who is not crazy expensive. Julie in Palm Desert needs a tutor to teach her how to use her MacBook. Back in La Quinta, Sherry has a question. Has anyone out there had valley fever? If so, can you please tell me how long your extreme fatigue and body aches lasted?
If you're watching, we thank you. If you're not, you have no idea what we're saying.
Either way, we're always listening. Find Fred on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fred Rogan. You can also email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
Here you go. Here comes the food. So as you know, we checked social media during the program, and we just got a police alert from Palm Springs, a missing person alert. And the gentleman's name is Terez Mosakai. All right. He was last seen near the area of Molino Road and Sunnyview Drive wearing a blue shirt and white horizontal stripes and navy blue shorts. Missing person alert, Palm Springs Police. If you have seen this individual, please call Palm Springs Police immediately. He is missing, and this came out 2 minutes ago. So this might be the first you're hearing of it. If you're in the area and you've seen someone dressed like that, please call Palm Springs Police. You know, if you have a problem, we'll try to solve it, or at the very least get you an answer. Brian wrote us about his senior living apartments in Cathedral City and didn't know why their food box delivery from Find Food Bank had stopped. We reached out to Debbie Espinoza from Find Food Bank to get the answer.
We are not discontinuing services at the site that Brian is at. Right now, we're just on a pause. They had a transition of management, and because the program, the food box program that he is speaking of, is a USDA program, we have compliance and regulation that we have to follow, and because they had a transition with their site manager, we're in the process of training the new site manager in order to be able to get that program restarted again as fast as possible.
Well, we got some good news from Brian. Find Food Bank is resuming their monthly food box delivery starting in June. This is great news for Casa Victoria. Another huge thank you to the Rogan Report for helping with this. You're the best. Brian, thank you, but the real hero here is Find Food Bank, so thanks to them and to Debbie. So this next story has been discussed for a few years, and when I first heard about it, I thought there is absolutely no way this is ever going to happen. I actually thought it was one of the stupidest ideas ever. Turns out I'm the stupid one, because ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here it comes. Prepare for standing room only on planes. They can cram 20 more people on the plane this way. Budget airlines are considering it, including Ryanair, which, by the way, you can take to Morocco. We did a story on Ryanair some time ago. Perhaps the worst airline on the planet. The new design includes bike-style padded perch seats that enable passengers to lean rather than sit. Airlines believe this innovative setup will make air travel more budget-friendly, especially for short-term trips lasting under 2 hours. But if you look at it, yeah, I know, if you look at it, you're this close to the person in front of you. When I first saw that a couple of years ago, I thought, there's no way this is ever going to happen. And apparently it's going to happen. I am serious. You will have this much leg room, this much. Are you willing to sort of stand lean for 2 hours to save money, Stephanie?
No, no, no. And I guarantee you this is not going to happen. This is beyond ridiculous. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I thought it was beyond ridiculous too, Chauncey, but they're doing it.
I don't know how they're going to get FAA approval. This seems dangerous. Somebody just tipping over waiting to happen, that seatbelt unbuckling, too much weight leaning forward. The only way I can see this, if this is just a hop to like Scottsdale or Phoenix or to Vegas, but no one wants to sit like this for hours at a time. You can barely sit in the regular seats for hours at a time.
Right. I mean, seriously, even a flight that's, say, an hour and a half, wouldn't you get a little claustrophobic sitting this far from the person in front of you, Chauncey?
Yeah, I would. No, not for me. Not for me. I'll buy first class and sit.
All right. And Stephanie, let's be honest. It is tough for some people to fit in the seats already. That's a fair statement.
Right.
Okay. Well, with that, what should they do?
This is the most ridiculous thing we've talked about in a while. They should not get on that airplane, and hopefully they will not do these seats. It's like the Hunger Games of flying. Who's doing this? This is crazy town.
All right. But apparently, now listen to this. You tell me if you agree with this. Apparently, leaning makes the plane lighter and takes less fuel. This is what they're saying. So because of that, it's more efficient. Chauncey, does that affect your opinion at all?
It doesn't. I'm sorry. We're going to waste the greenhouse gases here. For 20 extra people to get on the plane, not worth it. Put the regular seats in. It's safer. We know what we're expecting. And I bet you they're going to charge us more to stand.
Oh, that would be perfect. Of course they would. They'll charge you more to stand. And remember, you have to be buckled in when the plane takes off when you're seated. With this thing, they're going to put you in like a harness like this.
How do you drink your drink? You can't.
Right?
This is absurd.
No, you're not getting a drink. No, that's not going to happen. That's too much to ask, and you know it. All right, thanks, guys.
So sorry.
Believe it or not, the Palm Desert school bus story is still moving down the highway. But please, if you're on that bus, don't go to the bathroom when it's moving. You know those are the rules. And please, kids, don't say you've been traumatized or have your parents say it. The trip was to Legoland.
Good job. Please stop. Perfect.
Okay, so Steve did right. I applaud the bus driver for his restraint. But watching the video, it concerned me that none of the chaperones got involved to correct these kids on the bus. Apparently, they knew not to stand up. That's why they didn't get involved. A lot of people agreed with Steve. Other comments about the other station in town and their coverage. If you don't know, they aired just the parents' video. We held the story until we had both sides. Here's what Pat said. The one thing kids learned is that they can complain about a teacher, etc., get their parents involved. Teacher gets removed from a classroom. We talked about this last night. We held off airing it because we didn't have the full story. They went with it, and as soon as they got it, finally, we got this from Fred Drew from Cardiff Limousine and Transportation. I want to thank you for reaching out to me last week. Without your involvement, the outcome for Cardiff Transportation could have been significantly different. Fred, you're welcome. And if no one else has ever told you, Fred, you've got a great first name.
Good job. Please stop. Perfect.
Didn't reach triple digits today. Shouldn't reach triple digits tomorrow, but how long is that going to last? You know there's only one way to find out. It's Chloe in Super Weather.
Hey, check it out. It's still hot, Fred. Back to you.
Perfect. As we all know, you can find a lot of weird things buried in the desert.
Riddle me this. What is light as a feather, yet the strongest person can't hold it for 5 minutes?
Every day, our emergency services face tough situations. Last Saturday, they faced one of the toughest. When a terrorist bomb shook downtown Palm Springs, our first responders leapt into action. Police, sheriff, firefighters, EMTs, and other support services all converged on the location, and due to them, the situation was under control and the public informed as soon as possible. For all they do, the Coachella Valley Emergency Services and everyone who came to the valley to help are our heroes of the week.
Every so often, an incident occurs that is really hard to believe, especially when there's no validation to back up that story. Such is the case involving the aftermath of a train derailment during the late 80s. It's one of the valley's most unusual secrets.
It was midnight, Saturday, August 23rd, 1986, along Interstate 10, about 5 miles north of Palm Springs, where 36 cars of a Southern Pacific freight train derailed. 1 person was killed, 3 were injured, and the desert floor was littered with children's toys, electronics, clothing, and brand new automobiles.
A lot of things thrown all over the desert. You know, refrigerators, dryers, washers, you name it.
By the time the cleanup crew arrived, much of the merchandise had been looted by various desert dwellers. Several locals witnessed the cleanup effort, and one source had conveyed to me just what was witnessed here. And if you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, you wouldn't believe it. Now, this derailment happened adjacent to the property owned by the late Bob Miner, best known as the creator of the iconic VW spider sculpture, which is seen when entering Palm Springs. According to a story Bob had recounted, bulldozers dug a large trench, and 1 train car was lowered into that trench and buried. And the alleged merchandise that it contained? Well, that's a story that Bob shared with his good friend, Rick Grissom.
There's a car load of Yugos buried out there.
We wanted a dependable second car.
And this Yugo's just what we need.
The 87 Yugo GV is still only $39.90.
It was called the Yugo, as in Yugoslavia, the country where it was manufactured. These were subcompact hatchbacks that were famously marketed under $4,000. And a train car full of them that was en route to Chicago supposedly ended up here, with these cars claiming the Palm Springs Underground as their final resting place. For Desert in a Minute, this is NBC Palm Springs historian Steve Sumrall.
I told Steve we ought to go out there, seriously, get a giant crane, start digging up the ground, and turn it into a 1-hour special, and find out if the Yugos are really buried there. And your daily dose of cuteness when we return. Okay, before we get to the highly anticipated Daily Dose of Cuteness, we do need to share a fascinating fact from the animal world. Did you know an animal's yawn is based on how large their brain is? The bigger the brain, the longer they will yawn. Unfortunately for us, Director Max has a PhD in occitation from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. Max, is it true? The bigger the brain, the longer the yawn? What do you say, Max?
3 hours later.
Wake up! It's true.
Producer Kevin. Our contributors are a huge part of the Rogan Report's success, and we're always looking for fresh, diverse voices to add to our roster. So if you think you have what it takes to be our newest contributor, drop me an email at kevin.mann@entervision.com and put contributor in the subject line. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for watching.
The Rogan Report was presented by the Living Desert Zoo and Gardens.
With temperatures rising, some suffer from excessive sweating.
Please towel off before writing the show.
Find Fred on Facebook and Instagram at Fred Rogan or email thedesertdean@gmail.com.
What is light as a feather, yet the strongest person can't hold it for 5 minutes? Breath.
Well, we have some time tonight for comments, so let's do it. Howard says, he says we talk a lot about Highway 74, but wants to talk about Gene Autry. He says, if you live in Desert Hot Springs, you know how hard it is every time Gene Autry closes. It's so disrespectful of the hardworking people of DHS. If the Royals living in PS had to spend 45 minutes and make the dangerous trip, the powers that be would have solved the wind sand problem 25 years ago. This is discrimination. About our story on medical gaslighting. Jerry told us he has celiac disease, an autoimmune disease almost every doctor will not test for or even knows about. I have friends who were totally gaslit by their doctors and made to feel foolish, yet they had severe symptoms. Had a good neighbor looking for tomatoes for a great tomato sandwich. I simply thought you put bread, tomato, bread. Jim had a suggestion. You know what makes a sandwich great with tomatoes? Bologna. It gives it incredible taste. Give it a try. I think you'll love it. Just love your show. And that's no baloney. We told you about Veg, the 24-hour vet clinic that opened in Palm Desert. Donna told us in Desert Hot Springs there's no vet services for quite a few years, but a report that a former location of a clinic is being refurbished is scheduled to open the middle of June 2025. It'll be a great service for people who own pets here in DHS. We don't sleep, we always work. Go to the website, click on the show page, it'll take you to the Rogan Report. There you go. Content from tonight's up there and past episodes as well. Thanks for watching. Wheel of Fortune is next.